Board of County Commissioners now in session. We'll begin with prayer followed by the pledge. Commissioner Jones, if you lead us in prayer, please.
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for this day you've given to each and every one of us. Father, we ask you today, Lord, for prudence, understanding, wisdom, and guidance today to rule our hearts and our minds today as we think not just for this day, but every future day that you should give us here in Franklin County. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda will be approval of the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next will be payment of county bills.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries also. Next will be Department Director's Report. Mr. Howard Neighbor, Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
All right.
We've finally about caught up with the grass cutting, so we started now on the shoulders and intersections and cleaned in the section that Alligator Point and asphalt. So,
Yeah, I asked Howard to go down, we need to clean up, in order to close out the grant, the thing that the money we bought, we have an obligation to clean it up, we have an obligation to do some in-kind labor down there, so that's why I've asked him to go there, set up.
Any comments from the board member? I guess you're doing a good job, Howard.
thank y'all.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a good one.
Thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Next would be Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste Director.
We won't have no meeting. I meant for this be after Christmas on that show.
Good morning, Commissioners. I don't have much this morning. Just want to let you all know we're getting ready to dismantle the transfer station and move forward for the new compactor coming in.
Did you get somebody to pour the cement?
Yes, yes. Jason White, we had 3 different proposal bids, and Jason White come in with the better. He actually going to set up a temporary area for us to accept garbage.
Okay.
Any comments from the Commissioner for Mr. Davis?
Mr. Chairman, I have something,
Okay.
if I may. Michael, did everybody get a copy of this from Jim?
No.
No?
I can make one.
Okay. Well, I'll share it with you. We'll get you information from it. This has just come about as of yesterday, as far as an answer. I've been talking with ARPC about the hazardous waste grant the county has. I don't know if you'll remember, but it's been a couple of months ago, I mentioned something about used oil collection in the county. The fact that we have one, but it's at the landfill. It won't happen this year because I've already set the budget, but they act like it's no problem to increase the size of our grant enough to try to put 2 or 3 in the county, across the county, so people have somewhere to get rid of used oil. So I just like to mention that to y'all this morning while Mr. Fonda was here.
That's a good thing, and I appreciate you working hard on that. Get that done for the people of the county, because it is an issue across the county that needs to be taken care of. Mr. Davis, when we found out we had to assume this transfer station, we talked about raising the fees of C&D to try to offset some of the cost of operation of this thing.
That's correct, yeah.
It's a pleasure to the board. I'd like for you to come back with something at the next meeting,
Okay,
so that we can implement it January 1 or somewhere right there in January.
okay.
We're getting a lot of C&D that actually is not generated in this county, but because we're so cheap, people are bringing the stuff in here.
Absolutely.
And you're gonna fill up our C&D over there. It won't be tomorrow, but it will happen, and we do need a way of offsetting some of the costs of running this transfer station. I think that's what we talked about.
That's right.
So
Well,
if
Mr.
it's a pleasure to the board.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we direct Fonda to come back with a recommendation on fee schedule for the landfill and bring it back at the next meeting. The next meeting will be over in Carabel, but bring it over there because we need to go ahead and do it and implement it by January 1. So
Okay.
if the attorney thinks that we'll have enough time to advertise and make sure we have everything in place, either January 1, February 1 or something, go ahead and get that in place, because we need to offset those costs.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
finally, by hauling the trash away, or the compacted trash, who's gonna do that?
Mr. Chairman, a point of order, we've got a motion second the board needs to act on before we move on to a different matter of business.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. As referenced to Commissioner Masters, I guess I shouldn't even be answering this question, but
That's fine, whoever.
that needs to go through the attorney and probably gonna have to go through a bidding process. And
Okay.
We're not quite prepared to do that.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. Because that contract will be above the $10,000 bid
Okay.
limit, so we'll work on that probably after the first of the year sometime.
Okay.
Any other questions for Commissioner Davis? Solid Waste Director? There being no further questions, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next will be Miss Pam Burnell. Hey, I'm having trouble here this morning. Emergency Management Director.
Good morning, Commissioner. I do not have any action items this morning. Michael, are we gonna open these now?
I have it on my agenda to do it in a few minutes after Eric, but. Not time sensitive, they're due. Correct. Are these EOC bids?
Yes, these are requests for qualifications.
Mike, they can go ahead and open those as well. All right, fine with me.
There's no money involved in this. It's a matter
No,
of,
just qualifications.
Now, if you guys, no problem.
You got the knife. You need to let them in.
Not allowed to walk tonight. Okay, man, you would explain to them what they are.
Basically, we've advertised this the third time. It was a request for a consultant to help us with writing project worksheets when we have a disaster, and being able to go out and help us do damage assessment and things like that. Since we're no longer going to have any support from the state on far as writing project worksheets.
They got out of it. What happened to the state, man?
Pam, Commissioner Lockley asked what happened to the state? They're not assisting us anymore.
Well,
No,
the short, until after this one, the short answer is that the state of Florida used to have their own contract come out and help us write it. And then they canceled that contract in the middle of Hurricane Hermine and left us all in a lurch. There was a bad sort of breakup between the state and their contractor, and everybody suffered from that. And the state is now, I guess, just going to shove it off on the counties. Is what's happening.
We're working on some right now. Basically, FEMA set up a website. It's a nightmare.
How are we gonna pay for this consultant?
When we get declared.
It would be a fee
Okay.
associated with the PWs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, shouldn't be. This first one looks like Capital Engineering and Consulting LLC. They're from Bluntstown, Florida. Second one is Wheeler Emergency Management Consulting.
Where they from?
And they are from Mariana. That's right, didn't it? Looks like H2O Partners, and they're from Austin, Texas.
Thank God.
You need to open that just a minute. You're good with outside?
Coming from far, ain't
They passed this one, didn't
There you go. If it's not a bomb, it'd be all.
The final one is from DSI, Disaster Strategies and Ideal Groups LLC.
Where do you from?
Tallahassee. This is actually the contractor that the state had a contract with that they canceled in the middle of Hermine.
Yeah, this H2O partner's out of Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, I'm about
Austin,
halfway
Texas.
through it.
When you,
Yeah, that's right. DSI was a company that had worked for over a decade, maybe 2 decades with the state. So, you know.
that's the contractor they divorced from?
Yes.
Okay. Michael, you have something else for this?
No, I was gonna say, do we need a motion to send to review committee?
Yes.
For recommendation?
Yes.
Camp committee.
I make a motion, send it review.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? Who is the committee?
It will be, actually, it will be my office and Mike Morone. What we'll do is we'll do a scoring sheet, because when we actually put out the qualifications, we listed what the scoring sheet was on, what was on the scoring sheet. So we'll score it from that.
So be you, Tress, and Mike.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it needs to be an odd number, so that.
yes, odd number.
All right, thank you.
We do have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
And yes, Commissioners, I do have one item that applies to Pam. Item number 2 in my report. Board action to authorize the chairman's signature on the Dewberry Purple Ridge Master Services Agreement for the FEMA-funded recovery work. The board advertised for and opened the request for qualifications at the October 17th regular meeting. These RFQs were reviewed, and Dewberry Purple Ridge was recommended with board action at the November 7th meeting. This approval should be contingent on Attorney Schuler's review of the agreement and Pam and/or her consultant review also, because we just got this on Friday, so they have not had a chance to review this yet.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders,
Second.
second by Commissioner Massey. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Does anyone have anything for Ms. Pam while she's here? Being no questions from the board, thanks for coming in, Pam.
Thank you.
I got a question. Pam, what we heard in the move about the EOC? They're
Sir?
gonna build a new EOC. And you heard any move about that?
There's not any federal grants out there that I know of. And I think,
Commissioner, it's in one of our plots for the state expenditure plan. It's in the consortium funding. So if the governor will ever approve the state expenditure plan, that's where the funding's coming from. We put $1 million in there to build it and $200,000 in there for planning and engineering work. So all of the funding in our state expenditure, that's a portion of the plan.
BP money.
Yeah, I thought the state was talking about building one too. Okay.
No, they cut it all out. This is something that Commissioner Sanders has already forewarned us about. And any county that's going to get BP money, they have cut us out of any other funding source.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, there was some discussion about the 12 counties with some of the legislative people about the 12 counties that need new EOCs, and Franklin was one of them. So let's just see what transpires during the legislative process this year. They may come in there and stick some more dollars in there.
I mean, last year they told us the same thing, and they knocked it out, so there was always hope for this year.
If they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it this one, because this is after, you know.
well, he put it back in his budget for the engineering and design portion for the 12 counties. Now, whether it passes again, because it didn't last year, so we'll just have to wait and see.
To see if he passes it again, which when it comes down to the last minute, you know how things go. But
Any other questions from the board for Ms. Pam? Thank you, Ms. Pam. Next will be Mr. Eric Lovestrand, Extension Director.
Morning, Commissioners. I guess we just have one point of information related to the FDACS contract for funding for the extension facility, a renovation project. Alan, Mr. Pierce had actually put in a request to try and extend the term of that, just to give us more time on that project.
Commissioner, at the previous meeting, I told you that Mr. Craig Christ could authorize, and he has authorized, the extension of the contract for 6 months. It was going to expire June 2018, but he extended to December 31st, 2018. And I haven't had time to check with Lori, but I think I just told y'all it was coming, and I didn't ask you all for a motion at the time I was talking about it, but now that we have it, if I have a motion then by the board to accept the contract extension of the $182,000 for the new extension office till December 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
I don't have anything else for you today.
Anything from the board to the extension director?
Yeah, who that building gonna belong to when they finish?
Department of Environmental Protection will retain ownership of that facility, and they will be responsible for basic structural integrity of the building, and we'll share utilities costs probably, and they will end up sharing some space in there with the extension office as well. We have a lot of common interests in projects that we want to work on together. Yep.
Okay.
So this money will basically be used to redo the interior of that building, fix what needs to be fixed and get it operational for it to be occupied.
That's the yellow building, right?
No, it's the
It's the
one,
Bobby Howell building on the left-hand side, the original
correct,
building there.
where the Estuarine Reserve headquarters used to be.
Yeah.
Where the meeting room used to be, or is the little meeting room there?
Yeah.
I don't think it's yellow, I think it's blue.
Yeah, it's got gray vinyl siding on it. If you go to the end of that street, you run into the building that used to be yellow. That's the FDAX building. This building is to the left, just before you get into the FDAX parking lot.
You're going up the hill.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Eric? Huh?
I thought the city.
Any other questions for Mr. Eric from the board? Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Commissioners.
We have,
I was gonna let the board know that your tax collector is here, he has an update.
please come forward, state your name for the record.
Rick Watson, Franklin County Tax Collector. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
I have 4 items to update you on. As you know, the Carabel office started offering concealed weapons license the 27th of October. We have processed 25 new licenses, which brings us to 966 concealed weapons license holders in the county. And we had 5 renewals. 4 people have been trained, and things have been going smoothly. City of Carabel Police Department offered 2 training courses. The sheriff offered 2, and the response has been very positive. On the property tax collections, as of Friday, we had collected $16,106,000, and that compares, it's about $500,000 more than the same time last year. Last year it was like $15,679,000. On the driver's license, there were some minor modifications that needed to be made to the Apalachicola office. Those are about completed. We will begin offering driver's licenses March 19th in the Apalachicola office. The final thing I wanted to report on, there's a partnership that's been established between the tax collector's office and Franklin County Schools and the Franklin County Education Foundation. I went to a training seminar for the tax collectors, and the tax collector, Joe Tedder, you may know some of the Tedders up this way, he's been tax collector in Polk County for a number of years, started a program called Kids Tag Art. You know that we have 123 different specialty tags in Florida. And this competition is among the 5th graders. There are 6 5th grade classes in Franklin County. Any funds that are raised go to small cash prizes to the winners, and the balance goes to purchase art supplies. This is the logo that's been developed for this year, which I think is great. The kids will get the program starting in mid-December and mid-January. They'll be rated, and then there'll be 18 winners that we'll put on a panel and display in different places around the county. these are some examples of some of the work that's been done. It's amazing the talent of the 10-year-olds.
Isn't that cute?
So, yeah. So, but Tracy Moses and Dr. Lois Caitlin have been very supportive, and I hope this will become an annual event. And there's some real excitement on the part of the kids about it. Any questions?
I have one about the concealed weapons permit. Exactly what, do they do the photos over there?
Do the photos. On renewals, we can also issue the license
Okay.
itself. On the applications, we do the fingerprinting. Fingerprints go immediately to FDLE and then on to the FBI. Department of Agriculture, Division of Licensing processes them. But everything can be done in our office. All that we need is a photo ID, and if you have to take a course before the issuance of the license, we have proof of the course. There are several exemptions. If you're a veteran, for example, you just need to bring your honorable discharge papers. So,
That's the only question I had. Any other questions from the board?
Just a comment. I was in the tax collector's office over there in Carabel one day last week and getting a title. And there was like 3 people came in there wanting to do the concealed weapons stuff. So
it's just amazing.
It is.
There's a real need for it, I think.
I've had mine for about 5 years now. So.
And now when you renew, you can do it right in
Yeah,
Carabel.
Yeah, and I did mine through the sheriff's office back then. So, yeah.
So, well, thank you.
Any other comment?
What the price of the cost of that?
The price is like $119 for the initial license, $67 for a renewal.
Mr.
And a portion of that comes to the county.
Let me ask one more question. You said you collected it since the 1st of November. You've collected over $16 million in the Avalon tax. Is that comparative to what has been collected in the past about this time?
It's about $500,000 more than last year. I went back last year to look. It was 15.6, and this is 16.1 million. And all those funds have been distributed. I'll be the first 8 weeks, November and December, we distribute to the taxing authorities every week. And so I'll be distributing, signing checks today. I think it's around $6 million total. So, but it's gone smoothly.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Rick, for
Thank
sharing
you.
that with us. Next on the agenda will be Ms. Sarah Hines, Health Department update.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Hines. I'm the Assistant Director for the Florida Department of Health in Franklin and in Gulf counties. Glad to be here today. As we promised, we want to be able to really increase awareness of all the different public health programs that we have that are offered through the Department of Health. And last time we were here on the agenda, we talked about our clinical programs and the type of services that are provided within that program, as well as the outreach opportunities and some of the services that we do during a preparedness activity. Today I'm here with our environmental health team. We're just going to do a brief overview. We're not asking for anything. We just want to share an update. So with that, I'm going to introduce our environmental health manager, Zach Hodges.
Good morning, guys. My name is Zach Hodges. I do the environmental management of Gulf and Franklin County. I have a staff of 5 that it's a combined staff that we do share, with the bulk 3 of them residing in Franklin County. I'd like to take a second on the coattails of the EOC talk. I'm wearing my ESF8 shirt this morning. We also share a role in the emergency preparedness. In this past event, we assisted with the assessment, pre and post storm assessment of all the healthcare facilities in both counties. And basically in that we have a questionnaire that we use to go and ask the facility management, are they in need of anything? Do they recognize any problems they might encounter pre-storm? And then the same thing following the storm, we go back and assess damage, look, generators, do they need fuel, things like that, and we can run that up to the state. But we're constantly, we called probably 10 times, just to make sure, and we knew the story that had come from Hollywood, Florida about that disaster where the patients died. So we didn't want anything like that happening in our area, so we try to stay on top of it. So we do healthcare assessments, but we also would do in the event we did actually have an impact, we would go around helping the other county partners assess, ruptured water lines, sewage. We have lots of operating permits that we manage for the on-site sewage facilities, septic tanks, and aerobics. So we would go around and make sure all that looks like it's supposed to, or if it doesn't, document it and try to get it in compliance. But it's a big program. But I'd like to introduce two of my staff. First, I'd like to call on Brad Addison. He's the resident supervisor in the county. Lots of experience. He's actually retired, and I brought him back to provide us some leadership here in the county. He does a great job. So he's going to give you the overview of what we do basically on a daily basis.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here to tell you about environmental health in Franklin County, our program. Zach's already covered basically our staff. We do over 1,400 inspections per year just in Franklin County. And since we now have a full complement of employees in the county, we were able to do 100% of our required inspections last year. So we're real happy about that. Concerning the on-site sewage and treatment disposal, there are about 1,243 ATU operating permits issued in the county here. And the ATUs are required on at least the new ones are on St. George Island, Alligator Point, and in the sensitive shoreline area within 150 feet of the shoreline. ATUs are required, so we make sure that occurs when new systems or new tanks are installed. We issue the construction permits for new septic tanks and ATU systems and for repairs to existing systems. We inspect the construction to make sure it meets the permit requirements and code requirements. And we also coordinate with the Franklin County Building Department, like on new systems, to make sure we go through the approval process. So we issue our permits first, and then the Building Department will issue their permits. And then when we finish the construction inspections, we issue the finals. We let the Building Department know about those so they can do the occupancy permits for the individuals. One of the time-consuming issues we have with OSTDS, or on-site sewage treatment and disposal systems, is the houses in the county are sort of traded like stock. They sort of trade quite a bit. They're sold and bought and sold. So tracking down the new owners for the permits is a time-consuming issue for us to make sure that the new owners have a maintenance agreement and they have a permit. Okay, the next item would be the rabies prevention work that we do. And we work closely with your animal control people in implementing this program. One of the big challenges here is finding an animal. Say if a dog has bitten a person, tracking down this animal, and your building, excuse me, wrong group. Your animal control folks are very good at tracking down these animals. We have them quarantined for generally 10 days. If the animal looks okay after 10 days, then we can close the rabies investigation. If the animal can't be located, or if the animal is really bad health after the quarantine period, then we'll have our health department nurses contact the victims to let them know that we recommend that the individual take the rabies vaccination series for their protection. Okay. We also work with your mosquito control team. We have complaints, say we have too many mosquitoes in this area, or someone has this pool over here that's just totally green mosquitoes. We work with your mosquito control folks to follow up to take care of that nuisance. And recently, we in mosquito preparedness, we work closely with your mosquito control team to develop a Zika response plan. That was more recent. Let's see. Also, we do complaint investigations, which we term as sanitary nuisance. And for us, the most common or the most recent common complaints that we have are